Hello and welcome to the Investing Bros. I am T Shroom, and I'm so glad that you chose to spend your morning, your lunch, or maybe your evening with me and diving into crypto news, crypto price chart analysis, and probably a couple of laughs, a little bit of fun. That's all going to be on today's show. And we've got some big bullish news for crypto. Before we get into it, though, let's go ahead and jump into the charts and take a look at what Bitcoin did over the evening and the early morning hours here of February 1st. Welcome to February, everybody. Here in the United States, we are really excited to be opening up a new month and crossing our fingers that we don't get another gigantic global catastrophe heading into an election season. All right, well, taking a look here at Bitcoin, you can see that it has continued to test this midline of the Bollinger Band. That has been a big kind of line in the sand for Bitcoin, and it has successfully bounced off of that, right? So found some support there. Jumping down to the 4-hour chart, you can see that it has made this move, found support here at 41,009 in that range is where that bottom candle closed. But our money flow is waning here on the 4-hour. And the hyperwave is down here below that 50 mark on the Lux Algo oscillator down there to the bottom side. So MACD pretty much saying a similar thing, telling a similar story here on the 4-hour. Although you are starting to get the current red histogram would go ahead and spell a bit of a curving back towards waning red histograms, meaning generally bullish, but those MACD lines are kind of telling the full story that there is more downward pressure, more downward momentum possibly to come, as those don't seem to be curling back upward. A curl back upward would indicate price stabilization, but for right now, we can expect price for Bitcoin, in my opinion, probably to just remain sideways today. There might be some testing higher, some testing lower, but right now, I think the markets are kind of waiting to see probably what the stock market open looks like, and that's why we're not seeing too much movement. So we could see more volatility, but as of last night and as of the reaction to the Federal Reserve's decision to keep those rates stable, Federal Reserve holding interest rates steady, but signals rate cuts may be coming. So basically all but saying plainly that they're pivoting away from hikes, right? They took the words out of their statement that they publish, and those words were policy firming, right? Which means hiking. Those words were taken out as I reported on it yesterday morning. Those words were taken out effectively, so that is what we wanted to see. Policymakers have kept their benchmark interest rates between 5.25 and 5.5, the highest in over 2 decades. So since July. So taking a look at the CME has actually adjusted based on this, and we are seeing another pause priced in for March. There is no decision in February. We skip February. We go straight into March, and right now, CME is predicting by 62% certainty that it is going to be another pause. However, in May, and as you'll guess here, we do skip April. So March, April, May. In May, we are seeing a cut predicted by 60% certainty. Okay. What you'll notice is that there is no hike being predicted anywhere at all. So very good, very bullish overall. I'd have to say, Bitcoin is kind of in the clear when it comes to monetary policy. Now, when we see the market open here at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, there could be a kind of some volatility in the stock market. There could be a reaction. So far, the ES minis are not really doing too much. Maybe just a move to the upside a little bit to come back and test higher. But yesterday there was a decent sell-off in markets, but a lot of that had to do with Google's disappointing ad revenue, as we reported yesterday. So that's the NASDAQ, that's the S&P, and the Dow Jones, which all have exposure to Google, I believe. So that is probably the majority of that downside movement is due in part to Google. However, it wasn't a buy the news event for the Fed decision. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump on into the bullish news here, because Cathie Woods is shocking the markets. She's upping her allocation recommendation. ARK Invest says optimal Bitcoin portfolio allocation for 2023 was 19.4. right? The optimum allocation is up from 0.5 in 2015 and 6.2 in 2022. So she's kind of turning heads here. She's getting attention, as Cathie Woods does so well. Let's read a little bit more of the details here. Over the last 7 years, Bitcoin has registered an annualized return far surpassing that of major asset classes, with an optimal allocation rising to 19.4% in 2023. Our analysis suggests that allocating 19.4 to Bitcoin in 2023 would have maximized a portfolio's risk-adjusted returns. So obviously, 100% would have been optimal if you just wanted gains, right? But all throughout the year, there was still risk. There was still downside risk. And according to their, sophisticated calculations, risk management calculations, their optimized allocation for Bitcoin was that 19.4%. Now, a couple more details here, and I'll show you the graph. Bitcoin is not just a new investment option, but a vital component for a diversifying investment portfolios, offering unprecedented growth potential among digital assets, the firm added. So here is the graphic for this. As you can see here, 19.4 is the allocation for Bitcoin. Goodness gracious. And gold is 40%. Commodities was 9%, and this is for 2023, remember. And then bonds was 0%, and equities 30%. So this is very much a gold-heavy portfolio in this case. But nevertheless, 19.4% is definitely very, very bullish for ARK Invest, one of the issuers of these spot Bitcoin ETFs that were approved on January 10th. Very bullish for one of those issuers to be coming out and saying that. Now we know Cathie Woods. She's very bullish on crypto, so this shouldn't be too much of a surprise. However, it is nice to see that printed out there, and for TradFi to be forced to take a look at it and say, oh, Cathie Woods, she's been wrong before, but 19%, that's hard to ignore. I'm going to go in on 2%. I'm going to go in on 5%. She's setting the bar high so that you can watch your bags fly. I've got a video here from James Seyffert. Let's take a look. Let's take a listen to this one right here.
I viewed the SEC kind of veering and pivoting away from fighting Ethereum and Bitcoin on this front, and they're going to go basically wage war on the rest of crypto. So I think the path of least resistance here is just to approve these things. The dates to watch are Van Eck is May 23rd. That's their final deadline. That's the equivalent of ARK and 21 shares January 10th, which is the first final deadline. That said, I am nowhere near as confident as we were with the Bitcoin ETFs. I'm probably around 60%. The CME Ethereum market is way smaller, way less volume. There's way less open interest. So the SEC could kind of draw distinctions there. They could try to draw distinctions with the proof of stake versus proof of work. There's a lot of avenues they can go to kind of kick this can down the road further. We'll know more in the coming months.
There you go. So James Seyffert kind of putting it plainly there, kind of saying what I've been saying and telling you all for a little while, which is that I do think Ethereum gets across the finish line, but there's a couple of points of failure with the Ethereum thesis that just don't exist for Bitcoin. I mean, A, there's an organization behind Ethereum. B, it is proof of stake, not proof of work, which that shouldn't matter too much, but it is a difference. And then, there's other implications for Ethereum as well. However, I will say, I do think it gets across the finish line. I also don't think that Gary Gensler will be voting on it. I think that he's going to be fired by that, and he will not be voting on that. Maybe he'll quit. That's my bet. Of that, I am definitely not certain, but that's my kind of hot take bet that I have going on with Tim, my partner on the show. But so far, I've brought you a lot of bullish news, some updates. We've got some other news here that is actually really spicy as well. But before I go any further, please like and subscribe to this video. It would really mean a lot to us as we're trying to grow here in 2024. We have come a long way, though, bros. You all have helped us get from 0 subscribers to 7,777 subscribers and counting. It's actually higher than that now, but yesterday I actually tweeted out over on my Twitter @tshroom. You can follow me. I tweeted out that we have reached this godly milestone, right? This is the kind of God's number. I don't know where that came from originally, but anyway, there you go. And it's very bullish, right? It's very bullish for us, and we're very happy for everybody who's come on board with the bros. So go ahead and subscribe to the Investing Bros here, and you will not be disappointed. We go live with news at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every morning, and at 3 p.m. we are also rocking out with more news and technical analysis to help you stay on top of your crypto portfolio. Because, guys, in case you didn't know, the bull run is coming up, and you're going to want to be well positioned and know not just how to make money, but how to avoid losing it. You'll find all that and more right here. Now, speaking of not losing money, bankrupt FTX won't be restarting. Hallelujah. But former customers will get money back in full. So this is pretty bullish. This is not what anybody was anticipating. And we have another story like this just after this one, so stay tuned. But check this out here. We currently anticipate that we will have significant funds to pay all allowed customers and creditors' claims in full. This is from the FTX lawyer, Andrew Dykert, as he told a judge on Wednesday during a hearing. Now, it doesn't say, let's keep reading, but I have a note on this. A related disappointment is FTX 2.0. We still have valuable customer data. They've got your data still, and they're bragging about it, and information to monetize, the lawyer said. But after an exhaustive effort, no investor, zero investors, are ready to commit the needed capital to a restart of the offshore exchange. So they're trying to do an offshore version of the American FTX. I'm not surprised that they couldn't find an investor, and I'm very glad that they couldn't find an investor. FTX brand needs to die. The FTX coin needs to really be relegated to the lowest of the low, right? But apparently they got the funding to be able to make this happen from one of their investments in, I think it was an AI coin. I can't remember which one. Maybe somebody in the chat can help me out with that. But it was actually kind of ironic. It was actually kind of a stroke of luck because one of the coins that they had invested in, I believe it was a small cap, just popped off. And so they became very wealthy and swollen with wealth and funds. So they'll be able to pay back those creditors. The payment is in full based on petition date values of those claims. Many of those claims are premised upon currencies, which declined dramatically in value in that tumultuous period leading up to the petition date. Based on evidence presented and the argument provided in the papers and the hearing, I find that estimation is appropriate and the debtor's methodology for estimating the claims is fair and reasonable, the judge said. So that's the way that they're going to be doing it there. So if you think that you're entitled to getting your funds back from FTX, which this has got to be some great news for you, that is the way that you're going to be getting it back. That is the judge approved by the beautiful symmetry and grandeur of the American justice system. They're hard at work for the crypto bros. All right, let's check out this next story here. But before we do, let me just show you all who is bringing you this episode. This episode of Investing Bros 9 a.m. news is brought to you by Decrypted.tax. If you invested or traded crypto in 2023, you're going to need to pay capital gains if you sold, right? And if you traded, you obviously sold. So head on over. You get 60 minutes free, okay? 60-minute free consultation with Ernest, who is certified and legit and extremely educated as they come when it comes to crypto tax. In fact, I would reckon that he's probably one of the leading crypto tax experts in North America, and that's going to be really cool. You should ask him that when you get into that free 60-minute consultation. Tim and I both use Ernest over at Decrypted.tax. We actually just had our tax meeting. I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, yesterday. So and it was easy, right? Going into tax season, you get stressed out. What's going to happen? How much you're going to have to pay? I don't know if I'm going to be able to maximize my deductions. Don't worry about all that. Just go over to Decrypted.tax, start that conversation, and immediately you will feel the pressure and the stress relieved from your shoulders, relieved from your life. But T. Shroom, does he do real estate? I've been buying and selling real estate too. I've been buying and selling stocks. I just liquidated a 401k. What do I do? Does he handle all that? He absolutely does. Anything tax under the sun, Ernest can help you with. Go over to Decrypted.tax today to set up your free 60-minute consultation with Ernest, and make sure you tell him that the Investing Bros sent you. Well, he got a headline here, another pretty bullish headline. Celsius to distribute $3 billion crypto to creditors as firm emerges from bankruptcy. Yeah, so a similar story here, right? When we were appointed in June 2022, everyone assumed Celsius would disappear completely, like the other crypto lenders that were filing bankruptcy around the same time, said David Barse and Alan Carr, members of the special board committee that steered the bankruptcy, in a statement. However, they are not still around, and now they are issuing the funds back. In a separate filing, the firm said PayPal and Coinbase will distribute the cryptocurrencies. Celsius will make no distributions through debtors' mobile web application, which will be shut down on or around February 28th. So that is important to know. If you're starting to get notifications from the mobile app, right, it might be a scam. Directly from the mobile app, probably not a scam. But if it looks like the mobile app, but it's coming in your email, be very careful, right? Because scammers out there, they know that folks are looking desperately for these emails from Celsius or messages in Instagram or text messages, whatever it is. And if they can get you to click on a link, right, or if they can get you to, God forbid, give them your banking information or something to set up a wire transfer, don't engage. It's going to come either from PayPal or Coinbase, according to this article. So make sure those are the places that you are engaging with. All right. So another bullish story. Now, let me take a moment to kind of zoom out here, because what is happening with these two stories? $3 billion. And then I don't think the FTX article said the amount of money that was going back, but you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Money is going back into the hands of people who bought crypto. Now, yes, that could be interpreted as bearish, because this could potentially mean that they're going to sell crypto, right? Sell it lower. However, if you look at this objectively, yes, there may be a bearish event at the very moment that these people get their funds back. However, overall, these are people who made the decision to buy crypto. And some percentage of those people feel burned, they're desperate, they need the money. But I would reckon that a decent percentage of these folks are going to rotate that money right back into crypto, buying Caspa, right? Buying Cardano, buying, Bitcoin, whatever it is that they want to buy. So I genuinely think that there's a case to be made here that this is actually going to be quite bullish for crypto, because this money is going back into the hands of people who took a risk, and they got burned. They definitely got burned. But I do think that a portion of those are going to come back and say, "Hey, I'm gonna roll the dice again, and this time I'm gonna be a little more careful." So probably seeing a little more allocation to higher up on the risk curve rather than further out on the risk curve. All right. Well, speaking of risk, man, we had a crazy headline yesterday, and I'm actually kind of surprised. You might be surprised that I'm not leading with this headline, but ultimately, Tim, my partner here at Investing Bros, he actually already did a video on XRP, and I, watched it, and I was like, well, he did a pretty darn good coverage of XRP. This wasn't my lead story, right? But there was an XRP hack. If you want to look at more of the chart implications and why Tim is selling his XRP, go ahead and check out this video, and you will not be disappointed. It is a very, very fascinating video. Tim's take is pretty intense. But let's go ahead and unpack some of what happened here. So Ripple's Chris Larsen said on Wednesday that the stolen crypto was his, and the stolen crypto was to the tune of $112 million of Ripple-focused cryptocurrency from an XRP wallet. Wow, that sucks, man. That sucks. Larsen wrote on an X, previously Twitter, that there was unauthorized access to a few of his personal XRP accounts, not Ripple. Okay. We were quickly able to catch the problem and notify exchanges to freeze the affected addresses. Law enforcement is already involved. Well, that's pretty good. That looks like there's a chance they might get it back then. Larsen wrote the post less than an hour after the well-known cryptocurrency researcher Zach XBT broke news of the hack. Okay. So it wasn't even Chris that found about it first. It was Zach XBT. In a post on X, the crypto security researcher added, that'd be Chris Larsen, added that the stolen XRP funds have already been laundered through several crypto exchanges and platforms, including Binance and Kraken. Binance spokesperson Simon Matthews told TechCrunch that the company is aware and actively supporting the investigation. That kind of makes it less likely, then that paragraph makes it less likely that they'll get the money back. We are aware of the incident. We have an incident response capability and undertake proactive review of open source to identify incidents such as this, engaging with victims, and prevent Kraken from being used in this way. Kraken spokesperson Megan Thorpe told TechCrunch in an email. So Kraken kind of covering their bases, saying the thing that sounds nice to say. However, a lot of times the money does not come back. But when blockchain, you kind of can eventually, go find that money unless they run it through a mixer, right? Like Tornado Cash or something like that. So I think this is less of a story. I think people care a little less whether or not Chris Larson gets his millions back. I think what's more important here is that XRP, one of the founders of XRP is sitting there losing his money to a hack. Now, that sucks, right? And I mean, the kind of the talking points here are pretty obvious. So if you want to, dive deeper into that story, I encourage you again to go ahead and watch Tim's video. He's done much more of a deep dive and actually talked about kind of some of the levels that he thinks Bitcoin XRP could get to as a result of this story. Well, we've got another bullish story here. This is that Germany banking giant DZ, not to be confused with DZ, over at Discover Crypto, to pilot crypto trading this year, according to Bloomberg. So this is pretty bullish. Not going to get into the details of this, but this could actually give some trading platforms a run for their money. Of course, here at Investing Bros, we're big fans of the trading platform Blowfin because it's easy to use in America for leverage crypto trading. Go ahead and take a look at the link below for Blowfin. You will not be disappointed. It's a great platform. I literally made about a 10% trade the other day on Blowfin trading Ethereum. I know that doesn't sound like much. It's because it's not. It was a higher margin play. All right, let's take a look here at the charts. Let's go ahead and dive on in. And let's also see who's been in the chat. Drew was first. Drew was first in the chat. Drew from Ohio. Okay. Got a couple of GMs in here. Sack Nasty said Pokemon, saying what's up to Pokemon. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Servando Estrada in the chat. Love to see it. Mr. J saying good morning. All right. Dylan Martinez said hello all. All right. Let's see. Bros don't cry. Crux of Crypto in the chat saying good morning. Yeah, so we've got a lot of love in the chat. Love it. Love it. Thanks so much for tuning in, folks. Oh, Crux of Crypto had something to say here about FTX. Let's see. T-Shroom, they are not the same story. FTX is 100% return. Celsius is giving around 30% of your value back in a combination of stock and crypto. Okay, so that is a big difference. Thank you so much, Crux, for bringing that to my attention. All right. Let's see. Yeah, so that's a really good. Thank you guys so much. Again, thank you so much for tuning in and spending some time with the bros. It is always good to see you. Let's see. We're getting close here to the Eastern Standard New York market open. Let's take a look here at some altcoins. Going to start off with Ethereum. Now, I've got some lines drawn here. Ethereum kind of struggling to get back above. Now, this line is actually not, it's not anything important. It's actually, well, I guess it does have some significance here from these highs, but it's actually not that. Oh, okay. It was a strong bounce here back in December of 2023. But to be honest with you, this was actually, I had it marked because this was a stop loss I had in my trade from the other day. But it's actually turned into really good resistance here as Ethereum is struggling to get back up above 2280, so 2280. That is kind of the level right now that Ethereum is watching. Of course, it broke down through this uptrending line of support, which is kind of bearish, but ultimately we did have that. Remember this video from James Seyffert, right, talking about how there could potentially be that spot Ethereum ETF approval, right? That would be very bullish for the coin. So, while folks may be selling it right now, accumulating Ethereum is probably not a bad move if you are bullish on that Ethereum spot ETF narrative. Let's see what else we got going on here. Let's take a look at some winners. Let's see, Tron doing pretty well this morning. That's not too bad. Taking a little bit of a peek higher. Let's take a look at our bubbles this morning. That's what I want to get a good gauge of the market. So overall, that's the weekly, a little too green. Taking a look here at the daily, you can see Jupiter, FTX down 23% on this news that they're basically liquidating, to returning all the money back to the people who owe it, who owned it, right? And who should own it. Jupiter, I don't want to say that this is bad because I don't know. It's an ICO coin right now. This just launched yesterday. So, I mean, it is down pretty bad, but Pith getting a nice, and actually Pith is our winner here for the Crypto Bubbles Top 100. Aptos up 3%, Render up 5% on the day. So Pith is actually our winner there. Very nice. The chain link of Solana. So something definitely to be excited about there is Pith getting a nice little push to the upside. But that's going to be our Crypto Bubbles for the day. For the week, you can see it looks like Sats is doing the best, up 35%, and then Tau not too far behind, 23%, and Ron up 25%. So actually doing better, doing really, really well. All right, let's go back to the charts and see Tron. Eric Wallen said it's just an airdrop T-Shroom. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that. Jupe is not ICOing, it's just an airdrop. All right, let's take a look here at some of the altcoins. Compound is down, but it's in this giant wedge. Some might even call it a pennant. I don't think so. I think it's a wedge, but it's in a double wedge. It's in a wedge within a wedge. It's wedgeception. Have you ever had two pairs of underwear on? We'll skip past that one. All right, you can take a look here, and you can see that this downtrending line of resistance has been rejected several times. It's been penetrated through, but then ultimately got rejected because it wasn't able to confirm it as support for Compound. And it's just been coming down. And now it has a chance. Honestly, this is probably gearing up for a pretty good trade. Now, what we've seen, again, for these lines that I've drawn, now, they're my lines. I hand drew them. They're not algorithmically generated by ALGO or anything. But what you could expect here for a trade, and I'm on the 4 hour, so this is a pretty decent little setup here. There could be a little bounce, but then there'll probably be a breakthrough, right? And then that's when I would be trying to scoop it up, kind of in this zone here. And then a break back through, a test higher. But I would get out, right? Because this is going to break in one direction or another. Because if you take a look here, you can see that this has been building up for a while. So if you're not bullish on Compound, which I can understand why you might not be, it's a DeFi coin. Not the DeFi coins are bad, but there's just a lot of competition. This is probably going to either break to the upside or to the downside because of this consolidation. So it's definitely something to look into, something to keep in mind. All right, guys. Well, we didn't go too deep into the alts there. Let's take a look really quick at Chainlink. Chainlink has been nice. Traders have been rewarded for buying low here in Chainlink. That's nice to see. But guys, we're going to go ahead and end it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I see Alex O in the chat saying, have a great day, T-Shroom. You guys have a great day too, especially Alex O. You deserve a great day. And thank you so much for tuning in. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tim and I will be going live. We'll see you then. For your tax needs, go ahead and check out decrypted.tax. For your trading needs, keep your stop losses tight, and use Blowfin, and stay hydrated, folks.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.